Here's Johnny.
I'll be back.
And you will know my name is the Lord.
And I'm walking here. I'm walking here.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Groovy.
For your information, what I do is it's kind of like Avatar, only instead of bending water, I bend data. And it's terribly boring.
I think that's the first time anybody's ever used Avatar: The Last Airbender as a way to describe any kind of position, really.
I'm a lot like the Avatar. Instead of being able to move wind, I take databases and I move them. And then people walk away from me. So it's like I'm moving them as well.
So you are like Airbender.
Exactly the same. Only I have to wear a polo. It's pretty similar.
Will you also get a movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan?
Oh, I can only hope.
That would actually be terribly appropriate.
I was listening to some comedian, and he made a decent point. And he posed this question: do you think M. Night Shyamalan ever had sex with a transsexual? And that was the feeling he wanted to capture in all of his films. Like, what a twist! I want everyone to feel this way.
I mean, you could just saw The Crying Game and just was so taken.
We should write his biography. I mean, it might be made up, but I think it would strike close to the tone he would like.
Interesting piece of trivia.
Oh,
the only scene of The Crying Game I've ever seen is that reveal, and only in an exactly 15-second chunk. Just the camera pan down to her dick, and that's it. That's all I've ever seen in that movie.
Why am I not surprised?
Just by pure happenstance, the flipping through channels, that's the scene that I saw.
I feel like the Cosmos just aligned that for you, specifically. Like, it knew. Like, it could have been showing anything. It could have been Groundhog's Day on the TV, and it's like, nope, Mike's here. Whoop!
That was like 11, so it was a weird day.
Mike, Secret Origins.
At my grandmother's house.
Please tell me she wasn't watching it with you.
No, thankfully.
Well,
Though having my grandmother explain transsexuals would have been fascinating.
That would have been a great show all on its own. Old people explaining awkward topics to children. Seesaw and an anal fissure is when...
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about that, Grandpa. Sorry. No.
I did used to want a YouTube show of just old people eating sandwiches.
That seems like it would get old fast.
Well, yeah, but just occasional close-ups of their nose and then breathing through them.
God, it's like a forest. There's so many hairs.
Why is it specifically old people breathing through their nose while eating sandwiches is a thing?
I didn't notice it until you said so. Like, it never would have occurred to me that was something that was annoying. But now you mention it, I'm just having tons of flashbacks to lunches in the past.
It's like an aberration you've never just seen before.
Well, thanks for opening my eyes, you bastard.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I was tempted to invite James on, even though he hasn't seen the movie yet, and just spoil it completely for him, have him not say anything the entire episode.
I think that'd be great.
I think it would have been good.
We could still do that. I mean, I've got some time.
Yeah.
We should give it a shot just for the hell of it. Like, if he actually takes it, then it's his own fault.
I'll try.
Excellent.
Fuck else does he have to do?
Not have Captain America spoiled for him? Nah. Really, though, I mean, it's not a movie that's easily spoiled. Like, going in, Robert Redford's going to be an asshole.
The only thing, you can spoil it by saying he's not the Red Skull.
Yeah, that's slightly surprising, but he's like the modern-day version of the Red Skull. He doesn't peel his face off at any point, and he's not Hugo Weaving. Oh, sorry. Spoilers. And if he doesn't already know Bucky is the Winter Soldier, then he might be brain dead.
But wouldn't that be an amazing reveal for him, though?
Some people were very angry, like I had mentioned. I'm like, oh, look, Bucky. And they're like, no, that's the Winter Soldier. And I'm like, ew. It's the same actor, even.
I did have a great theater experience where the general audience was surprised by that.
Did they gasp?
They were a little bit audibly surprised, which I liked. It was good.
I'm just gonna throw most of this into the Mini-BOP, just so you're aware. I'm not gonna throw out any of this gold. But in my showing, we had this one guy, and he was more deserving of the title of Captain Obvious than any other theater goer I've ever met in my life. So, you remember the scene where Captain America goes to the vending machine to get back the data stick, and all the gum is gone? Do you remember that scene?
Yes.
Good. The guy sitting behind me saw all the gum was gone, and he went, oh, the gum's gone. Okay, yeah, that's pretty obvious. Maybe he had a blind person next to him. But then, you see, in the reflection of the vending machine, Black Widow's just sitting there chewing gum. And he goes, oh, she's chewing gum. Like it was an accusation. I imagine he was sitting behind me, pointing at the screen accusingly. And it only got worse from there. Every time something happened, he had to say it.
I did have a guy yell out "Grandma" after Jenny Agutter kicked ass.
Yeah, the Captain Obvious basically went, oh, they shouldn't mess with her. He was being dead serious, I'm going to watch out for old ladies from now on.
This didn't happen to me, but I've heard this story told, on a podcast somewhere. A person was watching Independence Day, and the alien ship showed up, and the guy behind him said, dead seriously, those are the aliens.
I was really hoping the response was going to be, oh, hell no. But in my screening, we get to the final showdown between Captain America and the Winter Soldier. He's on the helicarrier. And there's that shot where you see Captain America's back, and the camera pans over, and you see the Winter Soldier. Right before the camera pans, the guy behind me gasps. He literally gasps. His nemesis. In a dead quiet theater, and we're all knowing shit's about to hit the fan, this guy had to be like,
Who even uses the word nemesis?
No, and the man seemed like he had his faculties with him. He wasn't, he wasn't, in the special class, as far as I could tell. He wasn't drooling or anything. He was just a normal 30-some-year-old guy who occasionally had his friend lean over and say, Don, shut up! And he wouldn't listen.
Oh, that might be the guy that was behind me when I watched Kick-Ass. That might beat him.
It's Jim Carrey.
Well, thankfully I didn't see that one.
Yeah, you're not missing much.
Though the guy behind me saying Mr. Bitey at the cat's name was still amazing to me.
One of my favorite theater experiences with people shouting stuff at the screen was this little girl who was watching Wreck-It Ralph a couple rows behind me. And at the end of that movie, spoiler, the bad guy dies. He gets blown up. I don't remember the specifics of it, but he dies.
I mean, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, and the little girl who's been talking throughout the entire movie paused for a second, she shut up just long enough to think about what just happened, and then she went, he probably deserved that. I don't know, I can't argue that. He was evil. He spent an hour and a half trying to destroy this little girl's dreams. I mean, he probably did deserve that.
And he sounded like Ed Wynn. Did I ever tell you about the dude who was sitting beside me when I watched Avatar?
I don't think so. Are we talking The Last Airbender, or are we talking...
No, this is...
So this is not an M. Night Shyamalan situation. M. Night is not going to be the one behind you?
If only, though.
Oh, what a twist.
So this dude was with his two kids. He was next to me across the aisle.
Okay.
And, he talked on his phone to, I assume to be his wife, for about 40 to 50% of the movie.
Oh, wonderful. Those people are great. Just great.
A big cell phone, too. I thought it was weird for the year we were in. It's like a circa 2002 or 3 cell phone.
He's a time traveler, but not from the future. He was in 1990 and his radioactive phone somehow shot him into the future, and he's just dealing with it the only way he knows how, by trying to call his wife in the past.
But he was really excited about seeing a new Jim Cameron movie.
Well, who isn't?
So whenever there were subtitles, and there was a lot in Avatar, I guess his child, who was at least 10, couldn't read. So he was reading the subtitles out loud to him. But whenever it got to a complicated, made-up word, he didn't know how to pronounce it, so he would just pause awkwardly And it was like he was guessing the length of time it would take him to say the word, and he would pause accordingly, and then just continue on.
I'm just imagining you sitting there, fragile. No. Froggle? No.
Honestly,
I'm not going to say anything.
I'd respect him more if he attempted to pronounce anything.
Like, most of them are alien words. You can get away with pronouncing however you want. Just be like, it's my accent. Earthicans can't pronounce it right.
Even character names. Like, I know how to pronounce Neytiri or whatever the fuck her name is.
Neytiri.
Neytiri, that's it. But he would give no effort to it.
No, fuck it.
So, the kid's missing half the movie at this point, because he's missing all kinds of words. He's also letting his kids go up and down the aisle and sit in the aisle, and he would get up and walk around occasionally.
And to stretch his legs. It's a long movie. A lot of 3D going on. It tires you out.
And never turned off his cell phone ringtone, at least. So the vibrating would have been better than his ringtone and him gingerly taking his time to answer it.
This is why I want to go to like an Alamo Draft House. I just imagine if that happened, they would murder him. They would just string him up and his corpse would dangle next to the screen for the entire film.
Most likely. I have an Alamo Draft House and I still haven't gone to it.
Really?
Yeah, there's one in it's Alamo Draft House DC, but it's in Virginia. But
okay.
Buildings in Virginia just call themselves, put DC in the title and just say the end of it.
It sounds more impressive. No offense.
Does. Which is weird because there's already one in Virginia, so.
I like the idea of the Alamo Draft House not being anywhere near Alamo. You think they'd have to call it like the Wandering Draft House or something?
I have always wondered that.
Okay. It's their business. They can do with it what they want. I just think the name's a little weird.
It is. I mean, it's not like it's necessarily Alamo themed either.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. I don't know. I've never been in one. I can only dream.
Dream of Leonard Nimoy showing up. He doesn't have a movie playing there or anything. He just went to a movie. It just happened to be the Alamo Draft House. He's not on stage, just eating a pizza.
I'd still pay for it.
Yeah, I mean...
how many chances are you going to get to see Leonard Nimoy eating anything? It could be papaya. It could be a pineapple. It could not even be a fruit. It's rare.
I'd like to see him eat.
You gotta think, man. Old people and sandwiches, Leonard Nimoy and anything. You just want to pay to see people eat.
That could be a service. Everybody eats differently, and Leonard Nimoy could be very intent whenever he eats. Just, he goes in there, he cuts very specific size slices.
That'd be like the weirdest expertise to have. Like, you could be the Sherlock Holmes of identifying people eating just by like the sound of their lips smacking or something. Like, why did you develop this skill? I don't know. It's not very useful.
I thought I'd become a very unique boy detective, but it just never paid off for me.
All those Hardy Boy novels, they led me astray. I had a friend who had a theory that every person out there had one superpower, and each person spends their entire life trying to find it. That's yours. You identify, like, people by their eating. Some people have, like, really lame ones, like, they can probably taste bananas better than other people, but...
Taste bananas better than other people?
Like, some people taste bananas and go, oh, bananas. Some people probably eat bananas and, like, this tastes like this type of banana grown in this region. Their palate for bananas is just fucking bananas.
I'm not dignifying that one.
It's alright. So at some point, we had started talking about Captain America, and now we're on bananas.
Whatever.
I have no way to link that back to the movie.
You're not going to be able to.
I don't think it's possible, so I'm just going to say fuck it and backtrack. For everyone who's just tuning in, this is a box office mini pulp, and we're talking... The order doesn't matter. And we're talking about...
It's not even the... You bastard.
Are we done? Are we done here?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay. See, I'm gonna blame all this on MB. Again, if you've just tuned in, it's just Mike and myself, Cody. There's no MB. He promised to be here, but after like 2 days of work, Walmart has ground him into the dirt. He doesn't even have the energy in him to discuss Marvel superhero films, which pretty much means they cut his tongue out, I'm assuming.
No, he just has no passion.
They sucked his soul out.
Cody, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
You turned the recorder on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can
boy,
only
would my
hope it's
face
still
be red.
working.
I only just turned mine on.
Okay, mine started automatically as soon as the conversation started. I didn't even have to hit record. It was nice.
That means nothing.
The file size has been steadily increasing, so I'm really, really hoping it's working.
We'll find out at the end.
It'll be the Lost Podcast. Anyways, we're talking about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Or the original Captain America, or even Bananas, who knows? The point is, MB should be here, and he's not. And for that, I have lost faith in not only America, but its superheroes, so hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. I hope that catches on.
I hope it becomes a meme that's immediately run into the ground.
Oh, that'd be great. One of my favorite parts of the movie, though, is seriously just seeing Robert Redford kind of slumming it a little bit. You know, I just imagine a guy like that would never be in a Marvel film, and there he is. And he's dying, and the camera just pans in, you hear him go, "Hail Hydra." Oh, it's beautiful.
I will never forget the day that I watched Robert Redford say, "Hail Hydra," in a death scene.
In a death scene, as the camera pans in on him, as things are exploding in the sky, and the Falcon's zooming about. It's like, ooh.
After he was just killed by Nick Fury.
I love it. Marvel's gotten to the point where they no longer have shame for what they do. It's great. They've just finally shed it all. They're like, fuck it, this is who we are. This is what we do. Give us your money. And people go, great. How many credit scenes do I get to sit through?
And that's how you get, oh, my recorder just stopped working.
Oh, wonderful.
And that's how you get Baron von Strucker with a fucking monocle.
Oh, he's got the monocle. Who would ever guess that would happen? Okay, I take it back. When you look at comic films, it seems like there's kind of a parabola of possibilities. Like, you go back to Tim Burton's Batman, and at that point it seemed like any crazy thing could happen because, well, Tim Burton is the one pioneering the ship. Then we start veering off towards Daredevil territory, where it's like there's still some crazy stuff going on to let you know it's a superhero film, but we don't want to go that crazy. And now we're back. Now we're up to Nick Fury taking off his eye patch to show his weird wrinkly eye and spouting out one-liners. Need to keep both eyes open. Oh, it's glorious.
I was hoping he would have a non-working robot eye.
I was really hoping he would just like pull the eye patch off and there'd just be like this horrible, nasty nothing of an eye. And he was just showing it off. Like he wasn't doing it for any strategic reason.
This gross you out.
Look at me in the eye hole, boy.
That would be that would be the most amazing retcon ever, though, if he took his eye patch off and he had a regular eye underneath. It was perfectly
I was
fine.
thinking that for a second when he's pulling it off. I'm like, he's going to be lying the whole time. His eye was fine.
God damn it, Nick Fury.
I would actually go back through all the old movies and see if his eye patch like switched eyes. Like if anyone noticed. That wasn't continuity at all. That was just, he was tricking us.
It turns out he's the Mandarin.
He's actually the Red Skull. He pulls off his Nick Fury face, and it's Hugo Weaving. He pulls off that face, and it's the Red Skull.
Speaking of, it was nice to see the Red Skull called the Red Skull. I don't know why that excited me, but
Just hearing it.
well, Marvel seems to have finally stopped the just said fuck it and just has the villains called their villain names.
There's no reason not to, really. Although I'm surprised we never got Crossbones referred to as Crossbones. Although he's not really at that point yet.
Yeah.
This is like Crossbones Begins.
Well, he has this little, little cross thing on his costume. Revealed dramatically.
I did not even notice. I'll have to see it a third time.
Little piece of trivia for you.
There you go, yeah. Although I don't remember, in the comics, is he horrifically covered in like burns and crushed building?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I don't think he is, though.
It's hard to tell underneath that circus costume.
I mean, it's not that weird of a costume.
No, it's not. I mean, as compared to, like, the Leaper.
Well, somehow they gave Batroc his actual comic book outfit, just minus the mask.
Yeah. And
how
somehow
they
it
pulled
didn't
that off.
seem crazy.
As it turns out, if you just give that weird color scheme to normal clothes, it works perfectly fine.
God. Did they actually call him the Leaper in the film at all?
No.
Well,
They have him parkour fight, which is good enough.
Yeah, I mean, that made me happy. Okay, so sorry to go back to this guy again, but I have to share the anger and delight he gave me. During the boat attack, there's the part where Black Widow grabs, like, a chunk of metal, like a wrench or something, and just whacks a guy in the face. I'm assuming you remember.
Yes, I remember.
Okay, I have to check these things. I don't know your memory. Could have Alzheimer's. Anyways, the guy behind me hears the thud, and he goes, "Ooh, that would kill you." That would kill you.
Well, I mean, he's correct.
I was sitting there, I'm like, well, yeah, he's right. I can't argue that, but I don't think you had to tell people. It's kind of like Children of Men, when Clive Owen takes that battery and smacks the dude in the face. Like, you don't have to tell everyone, that guy is dead. You just kind of know.
There was somebody in my audience who, when Winter Soldier's mask came off, went, ooh.
Yes. That was the guy behind me. He was like, oh, his mask. But he didn't recognize who it was. Like, he saw the mask on the ground, he went, oh, his mask. And then he turned around, and he's like, I think he knows him. He's just kind of like, yes. And then he goes, Bucky, and he's like, oh, that's his friend. And again, yes.
Everything's new for that guy.
It'd be great to just, like, see the world through his eyes for a day. The sky is blue. The sun is beautiful. I can't see anything because I stared at it too long.
Like, I'd love to present that guy with new Coke.
He's probably like who everyone in commercials is looking for. These Doritos taste new and delicious.
That guy could make millions in advertising dollars.
Just record that guy every time like he tries a new product. It's Pine Sol Fresh.
Oh, this Payless shoe store has so many choices.
To you, crazy obvious man, wherever you may be.
He's a new box office pulp character, isn't he?
Probably. It's just the two of us, though, so, I mean,
Yeah.
inside jokes within inside jokes.
We'll carry the torch, because no one else will listen to this, so
It's true.
fuck those guys.
And if you're listening to this, Box Office Pulp recommends don't be that douchebag in the theater who says, she's chewing gum.
Just be quiet.
That's it.
My theater has a new sign up by the doors, just to continue not talking about Captain America. It just says, no guns allowed.
Yep.
I wonder how much of a deterrent that is.
I don't know.
Like, is somebody walking in, like, holding an AK-47? Whoa, shit.
I gotta put this in my pocket. Like, yeah, I went to a theater in Minneapolis once, and I wasn't used to big towns. And all of a sudden there's, like, the guys behind, like, thick, bulletproof glass. And, like, you put your money through a slot, and he hands it back. Like, you couldn't touch him if you wanted to. He's just completely encased in plastic. And there's big signs around, like, no guns, no knives, no drugs. I'm like, why do you even have to advertise that? And I found out, like, a month before there was a gunfight, like, by the theater.
Sorry, all I can imagine is going to a quote-unquote big town, and you're dressing up for in a top hat and monocle, and you have a big mustache.
I saw Hot Fuzz that way.
Huh.
That was the theater. That was the time.
And you lived, so...
Yeah, I actually had to sneak in. I wasn't 17 at the time. Luckily, the man behind the Lexan glass just did not give a fuck about anything other than not dying.
Yeah, my theater never cared.
I had to make a fake ID to go see Borat, and they checked that like twice before I got in the theater. It was weird.
Oh, you're 4? Go on in.
Enjoy the show.
Here's your gun. Protect yourself.
Go buy some popcorn. Gee, will I?
There's a meth stand in there anyway, Captain America.
America.
Freedom and all that.
So, one thing that bothered me about the film, and I don't have many complaints about it, to be honest. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing.
I'm able to think of any complaints I really have.
I was slightly bothered by the fact that they don't fucking even care to try and elaborate on what Hydra's really after. They just sprinkle in, Hydra hates freedom, and that's how they'll destroy the world.
To be fair, yeah, that's Hydra.
I mean, they don't try and rationalize any of it. It's basically like, Hydra exists because these guys hate you having freedom. That's it? Like, they don't have any other goals? They just see freedom walking around, they want to punch it? Bald eagles make me sick.
I mean, look at Red Skull in First Avenger. He just wants to, own everything, pretty much it.
Yeah. Although Red Skull is like a special case in comic lore where he's just a total asshole, and that's all he will ever be. Like, they don't want to elaborate more than that. Like, every other villain they try and give some depth to, or give him some sort of backstory or sympathetic edge. Not with Nazi characters so much. They can just pretty much send him out there and be like, this guy is evil.
And he's played by Hugo Weaving, so you know it.
I heard Hugo Weaving doing an interview, and it's so weird to hear his natural voice.
He has a weird natural voice compared to everything else.
It throws me off, because I'm used to, Agent Smith, and all of a sudden it's not. It's not at all.
It's like Simon Pegg's real voice.
And he's like laughing and charming, and he seems like a sweet man. And it's like, you're supposed to be evil, or Elrondy, stern but fair,
or become a werewolf in the sequel that never happened.
We can imagine.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how batshit crazy it was? There's a Marvel film where they had Zola just appear out of nowhere as a computer man. He gets blown up, and then they just never really talk about it.
With his computer goggles.
Yes.
Which I love.
Like, they actually did it. They committed themselves to making a robot man on a computer. And they just walk off like, whatever, that happens in our universe. And no one's that phased. Like, what? This happened in the 70s. Why isn't... What? That's insane.
Oh, awesome to have comic book Zola show up. Apparently the writers originally pitched, before the rockets hit, his computer would have grown legs and arms and walked off. And they were told, like, it's enough. He's already a computer guy.
Don't push it. Really? Okay. Maybe after Guardians of the Galaxy, people will accept that.
That was fucking awesome, though. Zola even had a more over-the-top accent as the computer guy. With his the goggles I couldn't get over. Like, he had his goggles. He had in, like, that one scene in the first movie.
Yep. I'm watching that scene right now, actually. He's wearing the goggles.
It's so amazing.
It is. Oh, Toby Jones.
Like, he comic book Zola showed up and had a comic book villain speech. That it went on for like 6 minutes.
He got to chew the scenery as like a bunch of zeros and ones. Fantastic.
And gave a Bond villain speech. I'm going to give you every piece of information and then you're going to die.
It seriously was a Bond moment. It just got stuck in there. It was completely Bond. It was more Bond than half the Bond movies. All they were missing was like the man with the fucking golden gun.
In the middle of a weird political thriller movie.
Yes, and no one complained about it. Like, every person I've seen the movie with never mentions the fact that that's really weird and out of place. They're all cool with it. It's amazing. I love it.
So perfect.
It really is. It's like, they can get away with it now.
And then they usually get away from the rocket attacks.
Yeah, I have so much faith now that Guardians of the Galaxy is going to do well. I think the audiences are ready now for tree men and raccoons.
You know,
we live in a marvelous age.
Watch Winter Soldier and see the, gritty, realistic fighting and things like that, and then imagine somewhere else in the universe is a talking raccoon. And Guy Pearce breathing fire.
I recently listened to the commentary for Iron Man 3, and it's kind of hilarious because they're recording it right before the movie actually premieres, so they're like, we don't actually know how people will react to any of these things, but we hope it's going to be good. And all the things they touch on, they're kind of nervous about. They're like, we think it's for the best. And they're all the things people complain about now. Like, there's a moment where they actually talk like, we thought Guy Pearce breathing fire is kind of over the top, but, we went back and forth on it. We think it needed to happen. It was a part of the movie that had to be there.
It's important to get the story moving forward. Breathe fire. Having
him breathe fire. And then they actually mentioned, like, yeah, we weren't sure about that. At first it seemed it was too much, but now we're cool with it. And everyone who sees that movie is like, why is he a dragon now?
6 months later, the writer would be directing a retcon of that ending.
Speaking of the Marvel shorts, before I popped in Captain America, I had to watch whatever the short was that was on this DVD. It was the one where Coulson fucks up some guys in a gas station.
Oh, whatever happened. What happened?
A funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer.
That's it.
I just want them to... I don't even want Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as a TV show. I just want, 5-minute little episodes of Coulson's life. Just like that. That's all I want.
Him taking road trips and going shopping.
I would love it. That would have my money.
Coulson cleaning a bathroom would be the most riveting thing.
You don't have to tell me. I believe it.
It was weird to have such a S.H.I.E.L.D. heavy movie not have Coulson in it.
I know. I really missed him. They got Sitwell in there even. It was like, what? That guy?
Sitwell revealed was a Hydra agent.
He seemed kind of slimy all along. I never really trusted him. I didn't think he was Hydra.
That's racist.
Why?
Because he's brown.
Oh, is he?
Wow. Well played.
Now you're the racist.
You've turned the racist tables over. Sir.
The racist tables?
Whatever.
That's where all the racists go to play poker. All the chips are white.
America. Anyway, yeah, Sitwell.
So never figured Hydra, but
Sitwell as a Hydra agent makes more sense than Gary Shandling being a Hydra agent.
Guy's looking rough.
Jesus, what happened? Is he hit by, like, several trucks in between Iron Man 2 and Winter Soldier? Like, what the fuck happened to that guy? He looks like he has hypothermia. Something wrong.
He's the Winter Soldier.
Oh, that would have been a reveal. He has a metal arm.
Everyone at the end of the movie just starts peeling off their skin. We all have metal arms. Aren't we all metal soldiers at heart?
I wonder if this means Justin Hammer was a Hydra agent all along.
I would actually enjoy that reveal if all of a sudden, like, everything, AIM, you name it, was all Hammer Tech. It was all Hydra. How far does it go?
That one reporter from Iron Man 1.
I can see it. I want to go back into the movies now and redub them. Like, every time someone leans in, just, Hail Hydra.
I bet that already exists.
I would not be surprised. The only thing is I want to do it, too, for, like, Batman. I want to go into every movie. Instead of the League of Shadows. Oh, Hydra.
You were excommunicated by a pack of psychopaths.
You mean Hydra? They're okay.
They're okay. They're good guys.
I can see Bane shrugging off, like, good. They seem alright to me.
As it turns out, Hydra's just like the Boy Scouts. They're a pleasant group of people.
I would like to see a movie that goes even further into this twist, and it turns out Robert Redford was a decent guy all along, and Nick Fury's just the asshole. Well, Hydra is the good force, and S.H.I.E.L.D. was the one doing all the evil stuff.
If you think about it, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing.
One has an eagle, one has like an octopusy monster. It's very different.
I mean, it's just an octopus, really.
Hey man, the bad guys in the Batman movie from '66 used an octopus. Good guys can't use octopi.
What about Aquaman?
Does Aquaman even count as a hero?
To himself?
Well, every villain is the hero in his own mind.
You're making a lot of sense. Anyway, Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't have any complaints about the film, and there are a lot of great moments. If you've seen the movie, you don't really need me to elaborate on them. I mean, there's a guy with a metal arm. Captain America looks cool in his new uniform and his old uniform. Falcon is amazing.
How is Falcon amazing? I don't
know.
It's puzzling.
How
is that the most thrilling thing I've ever seen in a film? Is Falcon doing stuff?
And again, it's such a ridiculous concept. Like, we're going to have this guy who just becomes his friend, and it turns out he knows how to pilot robot wing jetpacks. Like, that sounds kind of useless, considering everyone else is like a Superman. Don't worry about it. It'll be cool. And they were right.
With his goggles.
And his pop-up machine guns.
It is a better version of Falcon than comic book Falcon.
Well, that's not all that hard.
Oh yeah, though I would like to have still seen him have a pet eagle. It would have been incredible.
When the Avengers rolls around.
Oh, if only.
He's not actually supposed to be in that, is he?
No, which is disappointing. I would like to have seen him pop up.
Yeah.
If Hawkeye can be in there.
We don't know that for sure yet.
Those set photos were just Jeremy Renner showing up on set, but not actually filming anything.
Yeah.
They just want him to believe that, so he goes away.
You know, it is, like, people keep complaining about the Avengers not showing up in these movies. And at first I was kind of like, well, they're busy, they got stuff to do. The Hulk probably doesn't want to help because he'd destroy half the city. But now it's getting to the point where it's like, Iron Man should probably, like, do a flyby at least and be like, everything okay down there? I noticed you had some helicarriers blowing up, and I live, like, 20 minutes away.
I was kind of thinking that at one point, like, hey, why wouldn't he call, like, Iron Man at some point to help? But you kind of have to just chalk it up to comic book logic, where it's a solo film, so they're not in there.
Yeah, you can get past it pretty easy, especially if you're enjoying the moment. But they're trying so hard to make a connected universe, it feels very odd that you don't see the other guys, especially, like, as the stakes keep climbing in the movies.
Yeah.
Like, you think as soon as Cap is on the run, somebody would, like, you know.
Or, you know, the universe being destroyed in the Dark World.
Yeah. Well, that happened over a very brief amount of time, and it wasn't actually in America where all the other heroes are, so I can kind of see that one. Like, by the time Cap got there, it would have all been over.
I know, Black Widow seems like she would be there pretty quickly. She good response time. Exactly.
I also feel like they should maybe just throw in, like, a throwaway line, like, and Hawkeye is over in Bangladesh, hunting tigers. Something.
It was weird.
Anything.
That was the one thing where it's like, they should really explain where the fuck Hawkeye is during all this S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff.
Maybe, yeah. I like the small attention to detail, though, that Black Widow is wearing an arrow necklace.
Yeah, that was nice. Like, Hawkeye still exists, see?
In spirit, he's with us.
Black Widow's the only one who cares about him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But really, when you're Hawkeye, that's really all you need is Black Widow.
It's even worse now, because, before it was like, okay, well, there's some interaction between Black Widow and Hawkeye. They got that going for them in the Avengers films. They can always play off that. And now we'll be like, Hawkeye, who cares about that? Bring in the Falcon. I want to see Black Widow, the Falcon, and Captain America doing shit together. Like playing Parcheesi, punching Hydra agents, I don't care. Just get the three of them together kicking ass. With Nick Fury yelling at him in the background.
So it's about on the same level as comic book Hawkeye.
See, comic book Hawkeye's got a great thing going when he's by himself, running solo. He's awesome.
Well, just imagine that's what's going on when he's not in the movies.
That'd be great. They actually start making Hawkeye movies, but they're not connected to the rest of the Marvel universe in any way whatsoever. Like, he doesn't mention the other characters, he never talks to them, sees them, he just has his own adventures. And then he shows up with, like, the Avengers 3, and he's, like, wearing a cast, and he's got black eyes, but he doesn't say anything about it.
Just references having to go home and feed a dog.
I'd be all for that.
Even in his solo movies, Kate Bishop is there as Hawkeye, but she's not in any of the other movies.
Damn it, Marvel, that's the universe I want.
Well, I still want a Hawkeye sitcom, so.
Considering all
Jeremy
the
Renner.
other superhero shows that are trying to eke their way in, why not Hawkeye, the sitcom?
Starring Jeremy Renner. Pay him like $2 million per episode. Or really, what else is he doing?
I think he's supposed to be in the sequel to Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. Although he definitely did not seem excited about that. Did you ever see the interviews with him for that movie? He's just kind of sitting there like, yep, I got paid to do a movie.
His not even mock excitement was one of the best parts of that movie existing. It was like, yeah, check out Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters in theaters now.
Or later, I don't know. I could be wrong.
The chick I did the movies with's hot, so you got that to do.
Who's his co-star in that one? Was it Gemma Ederton, or am I completely wrong?
Archerton.
Archerton, okay. I was kind of right. She seemed genuinely excited about the film, which is the weirdest part, just the contrast there.
I just remember there was some, like, yeah, we're talking about this now. Some weird.
I don't care, man. Whatever. MB's not here to keep us in line. Go see Captain America. It's great. There, we did our part.
The promo, she was, like, doing all the talking. He was sitting there on the set, but it was, like, a piece of background where he was clearly supposed to be standing for this promo, but he just said fucking and sat down in the background. And just kind of, like, he's just leaning forward, like, waving to the camera a little bit, like, yeah, whatever she said.
I'm still here. Which, in retrospect, seems like the very Hawkeye way to promote a film.
If anything, that was more in character than he was in the Avengers. Anyway, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
So actually seeing Winter Soldier doing Winter Soldier stuff was... and being pretty much just the Terminator.
Yes. He's like a force of nature throughout the film. Like, we don't really need to get too much into character. They did a little bit towards the end, but most of the film is just like, he shows up, he blows shit up, and kicks ass.
And talked Russian at one point.
Yes.
Blew me away. Like, that was probably one of the most unashamed comic book movies I've really ever seen. And Marvel does a lot of those, but...
I'm telling you, man, they're getting more into it. I like it.
Yeah, it just felt like I was just reading a Brubaker Captain America comic straight.
Mm-hmm.
There was no shying away from costumes, even though Black Widow really wasn't in her costume too much, but...
Yeah, well, even, I mean, Captain America spends most of the movie running around like civvies, but they do make a specific point at the end, like, nope, you gotta wear a uniform, and they stick him in the uniform from the first movie, so it's like they get to eat, have their cake and eat it. It's great. No costumes for majority of the film, but we acknowledge that he needs one.
Yeah. Thinking about it now, there is one little thing I had a problem with, and it was a really good scene, but it felt like him going to see Peggy Carter should have been a little bit more, I don't know, it seemed like should have had more importance put onto it.
Yeah, I think the problem there is that was a scene that needed to happen, like, either at the end of Captain America or in the Avengers somewhere. I know there wasn't time for it really in either of those films, but just the urgency of it feels weird when it's been put off by, 2 films.
Yeah, there was a deleted scene in the Avengers that referenced her.
Yeah.
Him calling her something that I think should have been put in. I think it would have get a nice bridge, but it just seemed weird, like cut to the museum and then cut to like just him talking to her suddenly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they put it in because they always needed that scene somewhere in the series. Like, he had to go back and talk to her at some point. I don't know.
I like the idea that she might like have dementia or something, and he's like goes and sees her a lot, and she maybe is
Yeah,
only
just
seeing
doesn't
her first
remember.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that seemed possible. I was mostly distracted by the CGI in that scene. I don't know, did it throw you off at all? Like, I would have been happier if they just put some really crappy old person makeup on.
I remember seeing set pictures of her, and it looked like the old person makeup was fine on set. So I thought they made her look not enough like her.
There was something about the mouth that was just throwing me off. Like, it didn't look real.
Yeah,
It's like when you watch Tron Legacy and they've got, the young Jeff Bridges in the beginning. It's like, this isn't right.
Oops, goddammit. I just it didn't look like the same actress, but I knew it was.
Yeah.
I think they went too far. It didn't have any of her facial features left. I don't know why they just didn't do straight up makeup and left it at that.
Getting old's a hell of a thing.
I think she fought Zodiac at one point.
So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that scene was there, but I feel like it could have been integrated a little bit better. I'm not exactly sure how. I'm just glad it was there. They need to include it.
Yeah, just a little more important. But yeah, I mean, the movie's how long is it? It's
Like 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's stuffed full.
Yeah.
I was surprised how quickly it moved, actually.
Yeah, well, it's got a good pace. I mean, you get some intriguey spy stuff, you get some action, then it goes back and forth. It never really hits a point where it's like, there's so much action, I've stopped caring, or it's never a part where there's so much talking going on that I'm just sitting there waiting for action.
Yeah.
Speaking of action, Nick Fury gets an action scene.
Car chase, where he talks to an AI.
Less talks and more bosses around a computer.
It's not being helpful at all.
Siri, I said find me a waffle shop.
I'm gonna say the fake out with Nick Fury dying. I mean, I know pretty much Marvel ruined it in all the trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
It did seem like they maybe played that up for a little bit too long, because no one expects him to actually die.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating, because Marvel's killing characters off and bringing them back. Because Coulson dies, he's fine. It's like, very few characters of importance actually die or get permanently injured. And I think it would have... I'm glad Nick Fury's not dead, but it would have, added a lot to the film if they'd actually just killed him off right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way really around the fake out moment. It's more for the characters, but it is like this long play of like, God, he's alive. Like, yeah, it's Nick Fury. Of course, he's fucking alive.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna put it all on Joss Whedon. Like, he's actually gonna have to kill characters off in Avengers 2.
And they'll bring him back in a shitty TV show.
Yeah, there's a chance. I don't know. Considering there's like one more Captain America film under contract with all the original players. Like, Chris Evans is done after the next Avengers and Captain America 3, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everyone thinks it's pretty obvious that they could go Captain America dying and then having Bucky fill his shoes, but I think that'd be a great way to go, really.
Yeah. Well, he's still contracted for Avengers 3, too, but...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you could do that in the movie, though, have Bucky take over. I don't know if that would play well.
I'd be interested in seeing it, just because... Looking at Captain America, he's one of the heroes without a lot of angst. Like, he's in a world that he doesn't quite understand, he's trying to adjust to that. But he's not like one of those characters who can just take the suit and throw it away like, Spider-Man no more! He's a character who's kind of on a level path, and he changes the world to fit his needs. So if they got rid of him and put in someone like Bucky, who's definitely going to have a lot of issues considering he just murdered, like, tons of good people while brainwashed, I feel like they would have a lot more to play with in that character.
Yeah, I guess I would just rather see a Winter Soldier movie when it comes down to it.
That's true. That'd be cool.
Plus, I think you would have to eventually give it back to Steve anyway, and I think the weirdness of it was Chris Evans when Bucky took over, and then it was a completely different actor when Steve came back. It would be like kind of weird and jarring.
Yeah. I don't know, Marvel's always said they want to keep going with the roles, kind of like James Bond, where they just threw a new guy in there every couple of years when the old one retired.
Yeah.
And that's going to get tough when they get to that point here.
And it's like Hugh Jackman leaving Wolverine. It's pretty much going to be impossible.
I almost feel like they can't get rid of that guy. Or maybe they're just tossing so much money at him he can't refuse it.
Maybe there they just start freezing him between movies.
He's in better shape now than he was in, like, the original.
Yeah, I recently saw a picture of X-Men 1, and it's like, how does he de-age since then?
Like, he was in good shape for that movie. Now he's just incredibly ripped. Like, oh my god. He'll
Like
never
the Winter
become Old
Soldiers.
Man Logan.
He was ripped like the Winter Soldier. See how I brought it all back around?
Oh, clever.
I
I don't know. Considering, I think it would just give the universe kind of an edge if they killed off one of their main heroes. It would give them an easy way to switch over to someone new. It would, definitely be exciting. Everyone would have to go see the movie if they actually kill off Captain America.
I could see it. MB's not here, but he brought up an interesting point. It was interesting to see that this movie was essentially Captain America 2 Part 1, and they set up for Captain America 2 Part 2.
Yeah.
For later.
Like, I mean, there's closure and everything, but there's that whole thread of, Bucky's running around. Gotta go kill some Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. I don't know, I wonder how they'll make that work in a third film.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, would it just be about Bucky, or what else would be brought into it?
Like, there's gotta be something else there, just for the fact that, a manhunt for 2 hours would get a little old.
Red Skull, Zemo. I don't know. I was thinking that it's weird that the most solid franchise Marvel has is Captain America, of all of their various franchises. The one it would seem like it's the hardest to nail down is probably their most solid so far. Because Iron Man 2, Thor 2, kind of Winter Soldier, probably the best movie they've made.
I'd actually say The Winter Soldier is probably my favorite Marvel film.
Yeah. I do think, Captain America is the only, besides Whedon's, the only one where they've carried through writers and stuff. So, I mean, they've kept the writers from First Avenger, and then they wrote Winter Soldier, and they're going to Captain America 3. And you can tell there's like a creative through line there that I think is holding everything together a lot better than it's working at the other movies. Everything's more fractured and shit.
Yeah.
Plus, it's kind of crazy that we got the perfect Captain America World War II movie, and then we get the perfect modern Captain America movie.
Damn it, Captain America, quit taking everything.
Quit somehow being the most thrilling on-screen character ever.
Captain America.
We've been talking for like 6 hours.
It feels like it. I don't think it's been that long. We started...
Not at all.
No, it's probably...
This call has only been going for 54 minutes. And
yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. That's going to be my new segue, actually. Anytime things get awkward, just Hail Hydra.
I'm glad to, just like the comics, that Hydra is now being presented as the big organizational bad of the Marvel Universe.
They've been trying for a while to get one of these going. It feels great they finally got one actually working. Like, they tried kind of with AIM in Iron Man 3, but that clearly felt like it was up just for the one film. Same with Hammer. Like, they exist just for one film, and that's all.
Yeah.
Hydra feels now like it's going to be kind of the focus for the immediate future. Like, we know we're going to see Stucker in Avengers 2, so we'll get a little bit more Hydra at least.
Which hopefully they won't kill him off or anything in that, in like the beginning.
I don't remember how many films that guy's contracted for, but I thought he said a couple.
Well, to be fair, they contract everybody for like 6 films.
That's
no
true.
matter what the hell they're doing, so.
Yeah, and it seems like the only people who don't come back in these films are the villains, unless you're like Loki.
The other villains just get referenced.
Yeah.
Or just never brought up again, like the leader.
Damn it, that's got to come back to play at some point.
Once again, I hope that Thanos isn't the villain in Avengers 3 and just turns out to be the leader.
Oh, man. That wouldn't even be a bait and switch. I'd be happy.
Yeah, it's like, you have cured me of my leader blue balls, so thank you, Marvel.
Do you think when they get to that point, like Avengers 3, they're actually going to pull the whole Thanos kills everyone, but then it all gets undone angle? Because that would just drive me nuts if we saw that.
I would like them to go in the stupidest Marvel cosmic angle they could possibly do and bring like Adam Warlock in and just have it be weird early 80s Marvel comics.
Did you see that there's a veiled reference to Adam Warlock in the stinger or the teaser for Guardians of the Galaxy? Like the end credit scene?
There is?
Yeah, apparently if you look in the collector's collection in the background, you can see like...
Oh, like the cocoon thing.
Yeah, you see the cocoon.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So it probably means nothing whatsoever, but it's still kind of neat.
They name drop Stephen Strange, so.
Again, so neat.
Of all the characters to flat out name drop, they go with Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Why not?
What the hilarious thing is this would probably be pre-origin Doctor Strange. So he's just a dickish surgeon out there in the world.
He's just so dickish. Hydra's like, this man.
You're there, they're just like, his name's Strange, and he's a doctor. That just sounds super heroic in some way.
He sounds like someone we should shoot.
Take this motherfucker out.
I mean, why not? If you're going to kill 20 million people, you got to get a couple people that are borderline schlubby. Like, we don't know if he can really make a difference, but fuck it. What's one among 20 million? Just throw him in there.
Hey, where do you think the normal helicarrier was?
What do you mean?
Like, there's the normal, normal shield helicarrier. We only see those other 3, those new ones, but where are the other ones?
Yeah, probably just flying around, invisible bottoms, ignoring shit.
But, S.H.I.E.L.D. no longer exists, so...
S.H.I.E.L.D. must exist in some form or another. The TV show's still going.
To be fair, I think at the moment they're just in name only.
Yeah, I don't actually watch the show, so I don't know what's happening. I assume they're in continuity with the movies, but...
Yeah, they are. I think the episode right before Captain America premiered happened literally right before the movie. Like, Stillwell went off to get on that ship at the end of the episode. And then the episode right afterwards takes place directly after the end of the movie.
Okay.
Apparently the show's actually gotten better.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm just waiting for it to come on DVD and I'll pick it up then. Maybe if you binge watch it, it'll get better than having to wait like 4 weeks between episodes.
Plus, Hydra's a good television villain. See, if Strucker showed up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that'd be awesome.
Yes.
I just want more of Strucker.
What if it just turned to him versus Coulson? Like, that's all the movie was. Just those two going at it in a battle of wits.
It's a chess game going back and forth.
Maybe a literal chess game?
Yes, that'd be amazing. 2.5 hours of those dudes playing chess.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
That'd be awesome.
No doubt I'd watch that.
How confused do you think the general audience was when Baron Strucker showed up with no explanation? in a mid-credits scene.
I really should have asked my parents about that. Like, I went with my parents to go see it the second time, and I didn't think to ask them what they thought of that end scene. I think they were more distracted by Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
I had a family member ask me who the twins were.
Yeah, that's pretty logical because they're the focus.
The dude with the monocle just flew right over your head? He had a monocle and a German accent.
I can understand. They've gotten us to that point now. We're just like, whatever.
I guess. And no one asked about Loki's scepter.
Yeah. S.H.I.E.L.D. did a shitty job holding on to that.
It repaints Avengers in a weird way that S.H.I.E.L.D. was recreating Hydra's weapon stuff. Turns out, it was actually Hydra all along.
Yeah, you don't think they'd have to do much for recreating. They'd be like, well, we've got the source. Someone talk to Zola.
I still say Red Skull's popping around somewhere. He's in Powers Booth's body.
I'm expecting him to pop up at some point. Maybe Captain 3 is where he returns.
And since they probably won't be able to get Hugo Weaving back, he'll literally be in somebody else's body.
He's a big red face. You can put him on anyone.
Well, he fucked off to Asgard or wherever in First Avenger, so I think he should just be a Thor villain from now on. To really throw people for a loop, like Thor versus a Nazi.
That'd be a great way to build the universe up. Although it'd be really unfortunate if all of a sudden, an Asgardian was fighting, Black Widow. It's not much of a fight. It'd be very unfair. I shot him 8 times. He's bulletproof. And he's got magic swords.
I'm just imagining Red Skull going, I really like this place. Just all these white, blonde people walking around.
He doesn't cause any problems. He just enjoys himself.
It's a goddamn paradise.
He just becomes a model citizen of Asgard.
And then he meets Heimdall.
I was just thinking that, uh-oh. I know one person he won't get along with. It turns into a Seinfeld episode where there's just an awkward tension between them. He's his Newman. Heimdall.
And then he finds out Sif is related to him. It's just disgusting to him.
Man, why are we not in charge of Marvel's TV unit? ABC should just be trucking money to us and just, here, make what you want.
Then we would have the leader of the show.
It would just be him on Jeopardy, embarrassing people.
And then yelling at Gargoyle, who's in the audience.
Can we do something with MODOK?
Oh, God, I want MODOK to show up. I've never wanted a character to appear in a movie more than MODOK, just to see what that would be like.
Oh, man.
Especially now with seeing, fucking robot Zola and shit. MODOK would just be MODOK. You'd be a flying fucking head.
Yeah, they're gonna get to a point, man. They're gonna use up their top tier villains, and they're gonna move on to like the well-known kind of stranger stuff. I'm expecting it. It's gotta happen.
Seeing Chris Evans as Steve Rogers as Captain America having a battle of wits with MODOK. It's like, I would want that to happen just to... I wouldn't even watch the screen. I'd go sit in front of the screen and look at the normal people who have no idea who the fuck MODOK is, and just watch the puzzlement on their faces.
I think I have one old issue where Captain America just kicks MODOK right in the groin. And I'd want that to be part of the movie.
What's shocking to me is MODOK has a groin?
Well, he kind of kicked like his bottom jaw where like the legs connect.
That's his reproductive organ. His bottom lip.
It's close enough, right? It's MODOK. How does any of that work?
Oh, we do have AIM, so... I was
I've got AIM in there somewhere.
I was so hoping he was going to turn out to be the villain of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like in the fucking finale, MODOK shows up. It's like fucking like 22 episodes of shit has led to this.
And all of a sudden you just see like a giant silhouette of a giant face. You think the light's just like it's at a weird angle, and no, it's just MODOK.
It's Peter Dinklage.
Oh god.
The giant orange and purple costume.
I still regret this. I was at like a Disney shop in the Mall of America, and they had all these mugs. Like you could drink a mug where it was shaped like Captain America's head or the Hulk's face, and you're just drinking, you know, like out of the top of their skull. And they had like a MODOK mug, and I don't know why I didn't buy it.
Oh, why would you not?
Maybe I dreamed it. I don't know. It just seems like such a weird thing. It can't be real, right? Like no one would actually make a MODOK mug, right?
Maybe I dreamed it.
It just seems too weird to be real. I'm gonna go on Amazon and see if such a thing exists.
Oh, I would buy that in a heartbeat. I used to have a Frankenstein mug like that.
Where you just had little legs and arms attached to a face.
MODOK mug. It would be like, it would be appropriate.
Oh, the top result, MODOK mug. It does exist!
Yes, I'm gonna buy
I'm
that.
not crazy. It's $19.
That is so worth it. I would pay double.
I might have to buy a MODOK mug. Oh, it's sold through ThinkGeek.
Oh, of course.
Oh, you people at home can't see this, but it's beautiful. I'm gonna share this with Mike right now so you can get his live reaction. Okay, it's coming your way. Through the internet. It's amazing. Technology.
Power of the internet. Alright, it's loading.
Oh, the tension.
Oh my god. That's... Oh, it's a 20 ounce.
I like the label. Mobile organism designed only for coffee. Coffee with a K. The description here. Laugh in the face of a once mighty supervillain as you lightly sip from the hollowed remains of his superior cranium. The only question that remains is this. Do you want cream, sugar, or revenge?
Nothing has been more worth the price. There's only 13 left in stock.
It's gonna be 11 after we're done, man. We're gonna be members of the MODOK Mug Club.
I'm gonna start drinking coffee more just to use this mug.
You don't have to drink coffee out of it. You could have apple cider or something else delicious.
You always go for apple cider. But I agree.
Yeah, well, luckily in Wisconsin, winter never ends, so it's always cider season.
I'll eat out of it.
Seriously, it was ridiculous. We had a nice week, and apparently that was our spring, and then it went right back into winter. There's like 4 inches of snow on the ground right now.
I like how this is our Captain America the Winter Soldier episode.
Winter Soldier. It's a winter. I'm bringing it back in the wrong direction. Anyways.
You two are frozen and unfrosted every once in a while to kill people. Like Tony Stark's father.
That's the whole state is like that. That's why we think it's always winter. It's more of a Brigadoon type thing. We just keep coming back when it's winter.
God damn you and Brigadoon.
Brigadoon, man. Brigadoon's amazing.
I just realized something. I think in the shots from, like, Howard Stark's obituary or whatever, or Death File or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
They used Dominic Cooper.
Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm kind of going away from your point. So, in the first Iron Man, it's hinted that Obadiah set up Tony's dad's death.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But now, Hydra's saying they did it.
Hail Hydra.
Stain is Hydra!
This changes every Marvel movie from now on.
That's actually a pretty big impact. So far, Iron Man's been fighting fucking Hydra the whole time and he didn't even know it. Hydra killed his parents. And also made his coworker evil.
I think the beard made him evil.
That's true. But it was luxurious. It was a great beard.
So all this time he's been fighting Hydra and fire-breathing Guy Pearce, but not his, arch nemesis.
Well, the Mandarin's out there somewhere. He just doesn't actually feel like doing anything.
He may also be a member of Hydra.
Why not? Everyone's Hydra. I'm Hydra. You're Hydra.
Assuming, I'm assuming everybody's Hydra from now on.
That's a good plan. I think that's actually the best way to look at the Marvel Universe. Everyone is Hydra, except for the heroes, who are Hydra but they don't know it.
Wait until it turns out they're Skrulls.
Oh, that's going to get so confusing so fast. Okay, here's my prediction. They're going to kill Captain America when his contract runs out, but bring him back later because he's a fucking Skrull.
And then I will once again sit at the front of the screen in the theater and watch the puzzlements on the normal people's faces.
So they're shape changers? Yeah.
The fuck?
Go with it.
I did like how this movie was essentially Secret Invasion, but instead of aliens, it's just Hydra.
Yeah. Do you think they're ever going to do the Civil War storyline?
No.
No? We're not going to see Iron Man and Captain America duking it out?
It would be worth it for the posters, though. I'm with Iron Man.
Like, the marketing campaign just does itself.
Exactly.
God, I'm sorry. I'm just still staring at this MODOK mug.
I have it up, too.
Giant, frowny teeth. It's like, who would you cast as MODOK?
Peter Dinklage.
Okay, I would go with Gary Busey.
Busey would be good. You wouldn't have to do any kind of makeup or anything.
No, you just zoom in on his face and add some little arms to it. You could do it all practical.
I think his arms are about that size and his face.
I'm afraid about saying this because Gary Busey might actually hunt me down and skin me. Box Office Pulp recommends not pissing off crazy men like Gary Busey.
Oh, he's gonna bring war down upon you.
He did it to himself.
Oh yeah. What are your last thoughts on Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
The Winter Soldier. Like I said, I think it's my favorite film in the Marvel Universe. I think films are actually getting better as they go along. Like, if you look at Phase 1, I thought they were all pretty okay. Phase 2, I've actually enjoyed all the movies thoroughly. I know a lot of people complain about Iron Man 3. It has its issues. I still like it quite a bit. So, I'm excited to see where Marvel goes from here. I think everything's coming up Marvel right now. And it's also going to be hilarious when Captain America 3 comes out and just beats the shit out of Batman vs. Superman. Unless I'm wrong about that, in which case, fuck.
Like that movie's ever going to come out.
I'm pretty sure they'll blink and change their date at some point. They can't risk it.
No, I'm half expected to be canceled any moment now. At this point.
Yeah.
Sad. It's sad.
So what are your thoughts, Mike? You get the closing comments on Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Hail Hydra.
Yes. Hail Hydra. And everyone out there, Hail Hydra. Good night, folks.
And like that, he's gone.
I don't know what the fuck kind of podcast that was, but beautiful.
It was...
Without MB here to rein us in, it's just pure energy. It's like lightning shooting back and forth.
That was one of the most puzzling things I've ever recorded. And I'm counting the Halloween episode as part of that.
Really? Well, all right.
That was just... we talked about the movie, right?
There was talk about the movie in there.
I mean, there was so much stuff I wanted to say, and I just had no interest in just talking about it.
That's kind of where I got to. It was like, I want to talk about this and this, and fuck it. We got to talk about Zola being a weird computer man, and how great the Falcon is. I mean, that's whatever. That's it.
I can't complain.